We now need to let nature take its course. There is no time limit to say it's going to take a week, a month, or a year, but we are hoping that eventually this nomadic male will become a resident pride male and take over his own pride. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to your favorite wildlife viewing destination, Shamwari Private Game Reserve. It's great to have you all back here, and just a very quick update on something that we've been following for the last year. And that's the introduction of what has now become the nomadic male lion and how he's come into his own on Shamwari Private Game Reserve. So our nomadic male was introduced just over a year ago to change up a little bit of the lion genetic material, bring in new blood, as it were, onto the reserve. And in doing so, it's going to help spread genetic material. And that's really responsible conservation. It has to be done. We're in partnership with a number of different game reserves around South Africa, everywhere from national parks to private game reserves. These types of conservation efforts are essential to ensure healthy genetic material is constantly going through and perpetuating the species. So initially we all thought that this would be quite a quick process, that he would get released onto the reserve and there would be some form of a pride takeover quite quickly, where he would assimilate into a pride and become the new dominant male. It hasn't happened like that, and we can't really say it'll take 5 days or 5 months or even a year or two. It's very much dependent on what's happening on the ground within the prides, how strong and fit and healthy the dominant males within those prides are. Are there coalitions or are there single males? Those are all factors that are going to determine how long it eventually takes. It's our responsibility to do this because animals can't move naturally as they did hundreds of years ago. We have cities, we have fences, we have highways that have all fragmented animal movements. It's those natural animal movements that can't happen anymore that would have spread genetic material. Shamwari Private Game Reserve is one of the reserves that help with these conservation efforts to ensure the survival of our wildlife. So our nomadic male was introduced in the northern part of the game reserve, and for a few weeks that's where he stayed. He kind of started moving around and exploring the area. He moved down south. He really preferred the southern section of the game reserve. He moved north once or twice again, but now for the last few months he's pretty much been resident in the southern pride territory, on the fringes of their territory in fact. There's been a few interactions, but nothing severely violent. Nothing that would suggest that those lions in the southern pride really want to eradicate this guy. And nothing would suggest that this nomadic male is quite ready just yet to take over the southern pride and dominate it completely. Our nomadic male is about 7 years of age at the moment. And that's an age where lions are in their prime to actually take over a pride, be in control of a pride, and start mating with females. One of the things that has happened on the reserve that's been super interesting to observe is the fact that the dominant male within the southern pride has allowed his son to stay on and form a father-son coalition. It has been recorded in nature previously. It's not very common, but it does happen. And now we've seen it here, where our southern male has decided it's going to be much better and advantageous for him to allow his son to stay behind and act as an extra added strength to the coalition or the pride to ensure that this nomadic male doesn't have the upper hand and potentially could come in and overthrow his reign. That's not to say that the younger male will be allowed to mate at all with any of the females within the pride, but at the moment he's being utilized as an extra, essentially a soldier, someone to help defend the pride. And that's purely been created by the fact that there's more competition by a new male that potentially could come in and want to take over a pride. Our nomadic male is doing super well. He is a confident hunter, he's a confident lion. We've seen him hold his own against the southern pride. We've seen him chasing cheetahs and trying, as typically predators chase other predators. We've seen this many, many times before. And in vocalizing after the cheetahs, really chasing them out. And the fact that he's vocalizing would even suggest that he's starting to claim ownership of a little bit of land. Does that mean he's going to defend it? Quite possibly. The old saying goes that male lions never get involved in hunting. Well, this guy has proven otherwise. We often see him hunting all by himself, regularly taking down full-grown antelope. He's taken down zebra, he's taken down eland all by himself, and he does it successfully. The introduction of new genetic material, in other words, bringing new animals onto the property, is never an easy thing. And as far as possible, we now need to let nature take its course. There is no time limit to say it's going to take a week, a month, or a year, but we are hoping that eventually this nomadic male will become a resident pride male and take over his own pride. The great thing about having dynamic lion populations on Shamwari Private Game Reserve is there's a distinct possibility that a splinter group of lions will break away from one of the prides and form their own pride and allow this nomadic male to take over a pride of his own, and in so doing, the introduction of new genetic material would have been successful. Well, there you go, guys. Just a quick update after a year of lion genetic material. We really thank you for all the support that we've gained from you guys over the past year in following this nomadic male and his journey. We're going to keep on bringing you updates, and anytime anything interesting happens, we hope we're going to be there. We hope you're going to be there. We'll see you soon. Stay safe.